So I learned something today, which is great. You know, because every day we learn, right? I learned the actual definition of concern troll.
Okay, it's an internet slang word. Someone who posts to an internet forum or news group or an email to a business, claiming to share its goals while deliberately working against these goals, typically by claiming concern about group plans to engage in, well, now it's talking about, talking on a message board about politics or something, engage in productive activity, urging members instead to attempt some activity that would damage the group's credibility, or alternatively, to give up on group projects entirely.
Yeah. So, concern troll. This dude with whom I've never communicated before in any way. I've never heard of him, never spoken to him, never gotten a watch inquiry from him, nothing. Writes us this long email. Oh, it's from a friend. We're from a friend.
I send this email from a place of friendship as I enjoy your videos, your site, and your beautiful family is sometimes shared. Hey, there's a beautiful family right there.
Yeah, there's a, how do you do?
Watches over regularly and just haven't pulled the trigger on a purchase yet. I don't freaking care.
12 years, buddy. 12 years. You're just sitting there the right one's going to come along any minute.
And then, it's like he's our friend and he's concerned.
Oh, yeah, he wants to help. He's speaking from a place of love.
And then he starts complaining.
He doesn't like the videos because they have ad revenue. He says, oh, you'd sell more expensive watches if you just didn't have ads.
Can you guys shut up about the ads, okay? Try to think, just imagine, close your eyes and say, I have something that I own and I can do nothing and make money from it. Would you do that?
Right. But what's interesting is this is, as far as I can tell, as far as I can know, looking through the emails, it's a perfect illustration of really overworked manipulation techniques. Basically, it's the same thing as like those totally insecure men's rights guys that, pickup artists, and they've got this thing that they go to try to target women, to the negging thing. You say something good and that opens up their ears, right? And then you slip in some kind of a dig, and so they feel worse about themselves, which means that they can come then and maybe take advantage of you in a weak moment. So, never heard of the guy. He's never done business with me, never emailed me before, writes me like he's the local pastor. And I'm sure that he's real interested in saying, well, since I have you, perhaps you might have some room in your schedule for me. We are friends, aren't we? No, buddy. We'll never hear from you again. I'll never read another word you wrote. And
also,
that's it.
My reaction to you is not knee-jerk. I rolled my eyes and started laughing.
No, she literally was laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing about? She said, I'll tell you. And, but yeah, no, she was laughing. So, dude.
Oh, and also, we can talk about whatever we want in our videos.
It's true. That's true. If you don't want to watch my videos, don't. I think there are other people making videos. Mm-hmm. And you're welcome to watch them. In fact, it might be educational. Broaden your horizons a little bit. I forget, what was this gentleman's name?
I have no idea.
Well,
you didn't even put it on there.
I didn't?
No.
Oh, damn.
I couldn't even pronounce it.
Well, look at our email.
Well, his name's Matt.
Okay, Matt.
Matt Murdock.
Not Matt Murdock. You like Matt Murdock.
I do like Matt Murdock.
So I want you to find that email so you can block his email address and then delete the email, please.
Okay.
If you don't mind, but I would like to remember his name.
Well, I don't know how to pronounce KN.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make fun of me.
No, that's how...
Really?
How else would you say KN?
I don't know.
All right.
I have no idea.
What's the first name?
Matt.
Matt KN. Bye.
Goodbye.
Is he deleted?
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Well, hi. What? What's up? Look, it's Rocket. Hi, Rocket. How are you? It's Friday. Man, that's what Rocket has to say.
Mm-hmm.
He loves Fridays because it's been a hard week, and you've been working for the weekend.
Really?
Well, yeah, because then he gets to run away from Sebastian. Well, Sebastian makes his race car noises.
No, now he's an exploding rocket ship.
Oh, he's an exploding rocket ship. Ooh, I'm sorry, that just reminds me that... It's not a joke. I'm sorry, it did remind me of that chunk of the Challenger space shuttle was just found off the east coast of Florida. It's some huge... Look it up if you haven't seen the news. There's a video of the guy. They were looking for a World War II airplane, like a Bermuda Triangle special or something. And instead they come across a piece of the Challenger, like half buried in the sand. And you can hear the guy talking because he's, like a TV presenter, and he's looking at it and poking at it and looking at the things. And he says eventually, basically, we need to contact NASA. But the best thing about that video, you watch the video, look at the fish. They're like puppies.
I forgot to watch it.
So seriously, they're like, these fish, they're like, what's up? What are you guys doing? What's that you got there? Hey, what are you doing? It's wild. It's hilarious, actually. It's almost physical comedy from a, I texted it to you.
But now we're recording.
How do you do? 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 How do you do?
I'm assuming you're going to cut this part out.
No.
Why?
Why? I'm saying, how do you do to the dog?
Oh, okay. I'm watching the video.
Oh, she's going to watch the video. Isn't that?
Oh, am I connected to the stereo?
Probably.
Oh, crap.
Oh, well. Let's pause and we'll come back after she's watched it. You should go find it right now, too, and you can watch it so that we're all in the same place. So hopefully you found that video. It's the long version, not the really quick little one. How'd you find it anyway?
I went to interesting as F, but the whole word, and then I put in Challenger on Reddit.
On Reddit, yeah. There's an interesting as subreddit, and you go there, and they have it. Any case, what were we talking about?
Oh, the fish. They were so cute. They were like little puppies.
I told you, isn't it wild?
They're like, hey, what you doing? Who are you giant weird fish?
Wow, what are you doing? What's that guy doing? Anyway, it's pretty neat. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, if anybody's looking for a big update about the giant family drama, we've got updates, but I don't know that. Do you really want to?
Well, no, I would. Maybe some people care. Maybe some people can, hit the 10-second bunka 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 bunka, and then
in case you don't feel like listening to this,
and then when we're done, I'll go like this. And then you'll know to stop.
I have a question. So how much time would it have taken him to jump over the content he didn't like versus how long it took him to write that email?
Also,
why didn't you just skip forward, dude? Everybody would have been better off.
The video is taken down, but for a completely different reason. So that's why if you're going to go watch it, sorry.
It's offline right now because of all the ridiculous family drama that's going on. But it is coming to a conclusion, and it's a pretty fun. The great thing is, especially, it's like a choose-your-own-adventure. You have 4 ancestors, right? 4 grandparents. Dun, 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 dun. Well, one of the 4 is pretty suspect. Who is it gonna be? And it's like Clue.
Oh, DNA test. That's what he's
DNA
talking
test.
about.
Yeah. So it's real interesting, and no one, including me, could have foreseen what the answer was. It was very interesting. But we'll talk about this another time.
Yeah, once we have that.
When we get this dialed in, I'll tell the story, and it just kind of keeps happening.
Yes.
It just kind of keeps happening.
But anyway.
Oh yeah, sorry. Anyway.
So we experienced something I never thought I would experience, and I was completely confused for weeks.
This is actually part of the family thing that we just said we weren't going to talk about.
No, I said I was going to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go for it.
And then when I'm done, I'm going to wave my arms so anybody that wants to skip forward to the watch content
I understand
knows
now.
when to stop.
I get it. Okay. I'm distracted by Rocky.
Anyway, so as I've said repeatedly, we are not religious. And apparently people in his family are really religious.
Like really, really, really crazy over the horizon of the flat earth religious.
Yeah, like, because he mentioned something to his cousin.
About family planning.
A
private decision that we made.
And, we got shunned for talking about birth control.
Yeah, like literally, my uncle and his family, my cousin, all these people, they've known me since I was born, shunned me. And the entire family for talking about birth control.
So I looked at their church and what they believe, and they're young earth creationists, and I'm like, those people existed, I stayed with them, and I didn't even know it.
I mean, we had a great visit. It was super great seeing everybody, and great seeing relatives and meeting some new people, and we got to go to the zoo. It was really cool. And then, we were really happy with the way the visit went. I mean, we were pretty... And after we got back, we got emails saying, "Oh, it was so much fun. It's great. We've got to get you back here. This is when you should come." And then I was chatting with my cousin, and I just mentioned, about having a vasectomy.
Because she's terrified she'll get pregnant again.
It's true. And this minute I mentioned that, gone.
Couldn't figure out what was going, because it made no sense. I mean, who cares? Birth control, who cares?
Family planning.
Family planning. Who cares? I can't have any more kids because of a procedure I had. Mm-mm. And so we're done. But apparently that's so offensive that they all cut us off for some reason. You hear about it from various cults that I'm not going to list, about people leaving their whatever.
It's super culty. It's like the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes. And anyway, you hear about the members leaving, and then the family shunning them, and I'm like, we're both oblivious to everything.
We really do like to think the best of people.
Yes, and then all of a sudden it hit us like yesterday or 2 days ago that we were shunned.
Yeah, shunned by a religious community we didn't even know existed in our family. It was, there's some weird stuff. There's some weird stuff going on. But anyway.
Yeah, biblical literalist. No, my favorite was, one of my favorite parts, so that made me laugh, was his aunt was, Sebastian came up and with a Noah's Ark thing and asked me what it was. And his aunt said what it was, and that he was like 400 years old or something. And Willow was like, "What? That's impossible." And then later on, she was talking about Moses for some reason, and said, and he lived to be 100 and something years old. And Willow went, "Come on."
Oh, I'm glad she speaks her mind.
Yes.
That's one of the many things we try to instill in our children, is that, we'd like to have them be a little more tactful.
Yeah.
But you do know what it does say in the good book.
Yes.
From the mouths of babes.
And what's amazing
comes wisdom.
Also is his mom just died.
My mother just died.
Yeah, like literally we got back from St. Louis and his mother died.
We didn't realize we'd already been shunned for 2 days by that point. My mother dies. It's my uncle and his family. They've literally known me for 54 years.
He's known
nothing.
His mother since 1955.
Yep.
And
Nothing.
Like, why wouldn't you take 2 seconds to say, "Sorry about your mom"?
Yeah, I can't even do that. So, but remember, folks, they're the ones who are saved.
Mm-hmm. They're victims.
Victims, always victims. Okay. That's enough.
That's it. Now we're talking about watches.
This.
Whoa.
Whoa, it's a giant watch. Whoa, it's attacking. Oh,
wow, you're weird.
Oh, the 62 MAS, it's going to kill us all. Where are the quartz watches? I'm going to beat them up. I'm a grandfather. Okay, folks, it is Friday. Believe it or not, it's actually Friday.
And the great thing is I had pizza dough frozen, and I had frozen sausages.
Oh, also the sauce.
Black olive.
Well, there's the sauce. I think is still in the fridge.
Well,
it needs to get heated because it's. I made that sauce last week and it wasn't anywhere like yours, so it needs your touch. So that's the way it is. Anyway, I hope you folks are okay. I hope everything's fine. I hope everybody's happy to see Rocket. Mm-hmm. Well, let's go for it. You want to go for it?
Sure.
Oh wait. Should we wrist check it?
Absolutely.
We're going to wrist check it.
Am I recording? Yeah, I am. Okay, so I am. I don't know. I don't really own that many different watches anymore.
I wish you wore that one more. But you know, it's your watch, and you can do what you
Well,
want.
it doesn't have a date on it.
Oh, yeah, and it is a no date, and that can be a little funky, huh? But you still dig it, right?
Of course I do. And I like how lightweight it is. I forget I'm wearing it. And the crown doesn't bonk me like owie. And now the kids are screaming.
Well, you know, that's what kids do. Let me just strap this watch on again because I just had to check it. I don't know, but actually, your watch, I always forget when I look at that Omega that it's got that beautiful patina dial and that beautiful sort of gold red. I'm amazed Omegas are so inexpensive. Anyway, this is pretty much become my daily. I always wear it. But, so I do want to look at other watches. So, this also plays into, this is a watch I'm extremely proud of. Here is a picture of the watch dial as it came in.
Am I recording? Yeah, I am. Okay, so I don't know. I don't really own that many different watches anymore.
I wish you wore that one more. But, you know, it's your watch and you can do what you want.
Well, it doesn't have a date on it.
Oh, yeah, and it is a no date, and that can be a little funky, huh? But you still dig it, right?
Of course I do. And I like how lightweight it is. I forget I'm wearing it. And the crown doesn't bonk me like owie. And now the kids are screaming.
Well, you know, that's what kids do. Let me just strap this watch on again because I just had to check it. I don't know, but actually, your watch, I always forget when I look at that Omega that it's got that beautiful patina dial and that beautiful sort of gold red. I'm amazed Omegas are so inexpensive. Anyway, this is pretty much become my daily. I always wear it. But, so I do want to look at other watches. So, this also plays into, this is a watch I'm extremely proud of. Here is a picture of the watch dial as it came in. And here is what the watch looks like now. I would like to make sure to point out all the lume is original in every way. All I did was clean it. That's the original thing. Yeah. I'm like super crazy, incredibly proud of that. The only thing about this is it has, this should actually be a resist transitional. It should have the long sweep, but this one had a service sweep put in it. But anyway, that's the original lume. I'm very happy. Well, I can't wait to find out what we say. Okay, let's...
Oh, wait, I just remembered.
Oh, good, I can drink.
We lost the cord and we forgot to buy another cord. So if you can't hear us very well, I'm sorry.
We're doing what we can with what we got. That's all we can do, right?
Okay. From the 6139 6002 silver dial automatic chronograph video from Vilo. I was in the market for one of these.
Let me make sure. So he's asking about the silver dialed 6139 Pogues. They were silver dialed with a black indicator ring, and for a real long time, people said they weren't real. And then people realized this was 10, 11 years ago, back on the old forum, and looking at it, I got one. I got one of the first ones that anybody I had ever seen got in. I owned. It was beautiful, beautiful. And I was looking, and I was like, this thing's 100% original. Nobody's ever opened it up. And things started, we're already rolling at that point. They're extremely collectible. The real ones are worth a lot of money, but there's new reproduction dials that have come out that are really good. I mean, respectably good. I wish Seiko made replacement dials as good as these are, but not original. So, I'm so sorry.
I was in the market for one of these. I kept hearing how rare they are, and yet there seems to be a ton of them for sale. It's so hard to be sure if the dials are real or aftermarket. I've spent hours going down the Silver Pogue rabbit hole, and still I would only pull the trigger on one of these if behind the dial was verified.
Yeah, it's tough. There still are some things that you can see. those dials are real good. And the new reproduction indicator rings that they make are also excellent. And so if you have an original Pogue style case, it's a 6002 back or a 6001 back. There might even be a few 6000s, but those would be proofs. But you get a standard, 6139 6000X case of the correct type. Put in both of those things, and there's reproduction hands coming now, and the reproduction hands, the loom is wrong, but the metal is fantastic. You reloom them and they look really good. So it's getting a lot harder to know the real thing, which is why I only buy watches that are clearly original, because they're clearly unrestored, because they're dirty and scratched and filthy and gross.
Yeah, but not everybody's you.
Well, I've been saying this.
And they have to pay you to fix it.
I don't like paying people to fix my own stuff. I really don't.
Not everybody can do what you do.
And there's a lot of things I can't do. I mean, I'm thinking about rebuilding a car engine. I mean, I've done it before, kind of. I helped Dad do it. Well, wait, no. I've rebuilt plenty of Volkswagen motors, but this is, I don't know. I'm just like, really? Me? I guess I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Things to look for. If it's hard to do, but try to find one that is not restored. If you find one and you're looking at the auction, well, first, I only buy from inside the United States, pretty much, period. United States and Japan, actually. I always look for watches that are clearly original, again, because they're dirty and scratched up. They haven't been restored. I'm not thinking about the restoration process, obviously, but if your goal is original, that's one thing to do. You look for a watch that clearly has not been restored, or it looks like it's been dirty for a really long time. But you look through that dirty, scratched crystal, and it's always wonderful. You look through the scratched crystal, and you sort of refocus your eyes, and you look at the loom, perfect white loom, and then you can start ignoring the crystal, and you see what's underneath there. Man, I've uncorked some beauties in my day. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the best thing, is just be super, super, super duper careful.
Okay, for JA Seiko 75487,000 restoration. You know which video I'm talking about?
Okay. So yeah, 75487,000 restoration video. Okay.
From Matt McBride. Hey Spencer, hopefully you see this. I have a question regarding the adhesive in the crown. I'm rebuilding my own 7548 and was curious what is recommended when reassembling the crown regarding that adhesive. Is it necessary? What would you use?
Here's the thing, is because those crowns, those 6309 diver crowns, Seiko did adhere them in the male post. They
With
also.
what?
Well, I'm getting to that.
Oh.
They also did it with the 6105 crowns. They glued those in place. I'm sure there were a number of reasons for that, but I'm sorry, Rocky, and I don't know what to do, man.
What do you he wishes he was a lapdog. Uh-oh.
It's a clear epoxy. Whatever they're using is a clear epoxy. Now, they don't intend that to come apart, and so with using something like a clear epoxy, like a two-step, like when I take those things apart and they're still glued, I don't ever try to do it cold. I get those things nice and warm. Not like hot, but you've got to warm it up to soften up that glue, because it's real easy to snap that threaded section right off. So I think about that for the future. Someone else after me is going to have to, at some point, redo the seal, right? So I want it to hold, but I want it to be reversible, and I don't want it to be so tight.
Jesus. Sorry.
You don't want it to be so tight that you damage anything. So you don't want it to come out either, especially on a dive watch, because that would suck if your crown came off underwater. So a little bit of two-step epoxy. Frankly, one of the best things that works actually really well for me is gel super glue. You just use a little bit and it goes in there, and I've tested it. It holds beautifully, but then you heat it up and it comes right out. Unlike two-step epoxy, which of course you have to squeeze the things out, and then you have to mix it up, and then it's sticky everywhere, and then the cat steps in it. It's just...
Wait, has that ever happened?
No, but it was a near thing. It was a near thing.
Okay. Are you
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the cat.
Which one?
I forget who was up there. It was probably Milo, and he was busy fatting around everywhere. I'm not really sure. In any case, epoxy, clear epoxy, not a lot. Oh, you could also use Loctite. Loctite has a range of products, including some adhesives that are specifically designed to be heat released. Okay.
Now I can go on?
I eat every day.
Okay. This is about the 6309 7049 investment grade.
Oh yeah, this is a really old video someone found about a 6309 I got that was like perfect.
It's from Bruce Boucher. I'm sorry if I said that wrong.
How's that? Boucher?
Yeah.
Boucher?
Maybe.
Like Bob Boucher on the Cape.
Who?
Bob Boucher, he was going to insure the Volvo after I drove it into the ocean because the salt water was going to destroy the car, which it did.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand what he was saying. It didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. And like 2 years later, I'm like, oh, he was going to kind of backdate insurance information for us so we could claim the damage to the Volvo. Like 2 years later, I finally figured out. 2 years later, the bell goes off.
Anyway, beautiful, beautiful watch. I use a small amount of leather lotion on my senior straps. Keeps them flexible. Love the old turtles.
So I'm real curious about this. So you're talking about the original straps that these came with. I looked at what you were talking about. So you're talking about putting leather care solution on the rubber straps. And does it help? It's nothing I've ever tried because I always thought that leather solution and oils needed to have a porous surface, and rubber's not real porous, but maybe there's something in the chemicals that gets in there. I'd be curious to know what you use. So if you see this and can respond, just respond down and identify yourself and tell me what product you use and kind of what your process is. I'd be real curious to find out if that does do anything. I have a lot of old straps that are just stiff as plastic. So, always worth investigating.
A Seiko Bellmatic video.
Ah, okay.
From Joven Yalung. When I was new in the U.S. in the early 70s, I bought a Bellmatic for $150.
That was a lot of money in those days.
They were so expensive at that time. My salary was only $350 a month, and believe me, I also bought my first Rolex Precision, and it cost me $150. Same price, unbelievable but true. And now I am buying a vintage Bellmatic. I just love these Bellmatics. I need to look up how much that was.
Yeah, while she's doing that,
What year should I put in?
let's say 73. So just for you folks who may not know, Bellmatic was Seiko's line of alarm watches. They were like business watches. You could set a daily alarm. It had a crown. You could pull it. And yes?
$1,000. Oh, shoot.
$1,000 for a Bellmatic back then in those days before, all of our daily staples had been artificially inflated in price to maximize profits. Back then, I mean, things were expensive, but they were reasonably expensive. That's still a lot of money. So anyway, the Bellmatics, Seiko came out with them, and starting in, the mid-60s. They didn't start really cranking them out until like 69, and then all the way through to the late 70s. They until they stopped them, but they are an exquisite movement. The 4006 movements are they're world class. It's amazing how good they are. The closest thing they're related to is they have a lot of the 6200 series in them, but it modified out of all recognition. They're beautifully made with amazing technology, and I'm still kind of amazed how inexpensive they are. But as Sabrina will tell you, Bellmatics, even for somebody who has worked with them regularly, including myself, they can be kind of a trial.
I've heard him say, more than
every
every single time more than any other watch. I'm never gonna work on a Bellmatic again, and then somebody sends one in.
Well, what usually happens, it's because I get frustrated because they need some careful. Seiko has this thing, and the Seiko Tech, they love using springs. They loved using sort of pieces of the movement supporting other pieces of the movement, and the movement itself working in part based on spring tensions.
I just realized you're holding a sword, and they're probably like, why is he holding it?
Oh, I'm holding my sword because I've started working on it again. The thing about ADHD is you tend to be incapable of staying on topic, and you're easily distracted. Anyway, I made this about 6-7 years ago from scratch, and but I put it aside for a long time because I was kind of stuck on what the next stage would be, and I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm trying to figure out the scabbard situation. Anyway, Bellmatics, they're kind of like a chronograph, actually, a Seiko chronograph, a mechanical one, with all these crazy springs. And that if you have one spring that's off or like an eccentric post that's off, it has this cascade and it runs through the movement and everything gets jacked up. Well, it makes sense, right? Well, the thing is, if you're trying to if you correct the original problem, the source problem, then you've got to go backwards and comb out the knots and put everything back to stock. Like the last 6139 I did like that, it was like, it really was. It was like trying to comb out knots backwards. I did it, but...
It takes him days to finish it, and a lot of the time is, I'm never doing one of these again.
Oh, I don't say it like that. I am never doing a Bellmatic ever again. And I look at her like this.
And I'm like, wow, I've been hearing this since the beginning.
Yeah, they're just, they're always, the problem is I think of Bellmatics because I love the movements because they're so beautiful. And I always forget how persnickety they can be.
I don't forget.
Well, you remember, you feel about things how you felt the last time you were dealing with them. So you have not forgotten.
Can I move on?
Every day.
Okay, it's about the 6309 7049 Survivor.
Oh, this was a watch that I named Survivor.
I'm a survivor.
It was a completely original 6309 diver that had bad seals and it had flooded. Now, normally that would be a death sentence for a watch, but there was so much water in there that the little corrosion that happened ate up all the oxygen, and the thing just sat there. It had been full of water for, I don't even know, many years. Years and years and years.
When was this?
Oh, wow. It was, Survivor was one of the first watches I did when we moved out of Sebastian. When I had to move.
People are really going back.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, I loved Survivor. But it hadn't rusted like at all. It was almost undamaged. It was crazy. I mean, it was some damage, but it wanted to run. I mean, it was wild. That watch wanted to come back. Some watches don't, but I opened that thing up. I took it completely apart instantly. I dried off everything and cleaned it up and serviced it. I don't even think I had to replace much of any of the movement parts. The dial and the hands and the loom were original, and it ran. It's a lovely watch, Survivor. One of those watches I wish I hadn't sold. I sold it to somebody who'd been bugging me for a long time to buy a watch for me, and I sold it to him. And within a few months, he had been like rollerblading with it, and he smashed it on like the seawall or something. And he wrote me to see if I'd be willing to buy it back, and I was like, "Yes, I'm please send it here. I'll be happy to do it." And I didn't hear from him for a long time, and then we got an email from somebody saying, "Hey, I just bought this watch on a forum. The seller told me that you call it Survivor."
When was this?
Oh God, a few years ago.
I can't remember.
In any case, but it's like, dude, I was ready to buy the damn thing. And he sold it to this other guy for like half the amount that I was willing to pay for it. I still don't understand how that happened. Anyway, somebody out there, if you have Survivor, let me know it's okay. Anyway,
Okay, from Flying E. This video has always been periodically on my YouTube newsfeed since I've subscribed to Spencer's channel, and I still click on this video due to this great watch.
Oh man, Survivor, man. It was that's a good watch. I missed Survivor. The only other watch I really should never have sold was Silver Surfer. 6306, 7001 Silver Surfer. The water resist text was faded to almost this white, and the whole printing looked silver. It was really cool. I sold it to somebody, and we were going to get a whole deal, and I was going to be able to get that back, and we were going to do a whole bunch of work with them. But then we realized that was probably something we didn't really feel like dealing with.
What?
Huh? Talking about we were going to get all those watches to sell for that person.
Oh!
And part of the deal was that I was going to get back my grandfather tuna, and I was going to buy back Survivor. But then, for a very good reason, we had to pull the plug on that one. Yeah, Survivor.
Okay.
I'm glad you enjoyed that video.
Let's restore a $28 watch, 1980s Vostok Komandersky. Why are everybody looking at these old videos?
I have no idea, but I'm having trouble. I read this comment, and I was like, really? And then it was like, I don't know, it's...
What? Okay, it's from Taz Jordan. Restoration usually relaxes me. This guy annoys and gives me anxiety. Serial killer quality! Dude, did that whole thing rhyme? Restoration usually relaxes me. This guy annoys and gives me anxiety. Serial killer quality!
Wow, you know, honey,
What?
you could be freestyling by the lockers. Wow.
I come from this really small town. There were only 54 kids in
Like
my
a
graduating.
farm town in like middle New York.
Yeah, and completely white except for like 3 black kids who moved from Georgia. I don't know why, but they were cool and all. But anyway, these stupid white boys in the early 2000s were busy like this. I'd be like, huh?
Yo.
Yes.
That's crazy. So anyway, I'm a serial killer. Let's see, what? Anyway, he only created his YouTube account on October 22nd. So clearly somebody was thinking. And he made an account just to do this.
Thank you for the view.
Yeah, we do appreciate you for the view and the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those things help pump our numbers. So
Yes.
great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. From yesterday's watch review today, the Seiko Astronaut.
Seiko Astronaut. These are, speaking of the Space Shuttle Challenger, the Seiko Astronaut was, for those of you who don't know, a Seiko A829. It was a multifunction quartz watch, and they were cool in that they had, instead of pushing buttons, you would dial by function with the rotating ring. They were cool.
They're really cool.
They are really cool, and they were used informally by NASA crew people, and they're closely linked with the Space Shuttle program.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. From the Bebert 31. I recently owned a Navy ski that is actually a Yema French brand version of the A829 because back in the day it was owned by Seiko. I actually love the style of this watch. It is just a UFO as a digital, serious digital with a great history, and I actually use it a lot. The only thing I didn't get is what use has the counter, like just to count things?
It's like a bus clicker. What if you're counting something? You're digging through a box in the basement, and you're all those.
Or you're floating in a space shuttle?
Anyway, you're digging through a box in the basement because you need to find the right kind of lag bolts, but everything's kind of wrong, and you're trying to figure out how many that you need, and if you don't have enough, or maybe you do, and you're sitting there counting. Click. You don't have to remember.
Unless you forget to click on it.
It's true. Yema. Yes. Isn't that funny? I just happen to have in my pocket my Arlie, and my Arlie was...
And you're wearing 2 watches.
I am wearing 2 watches, and this is my Arlie. Arlie was this weird... They're somehow connected with Yema, because this is almost a Yema I don't know what the heck it is, but that's what this is. It's just weird. Sub 007 is the name of this model.
It's about the 6309-7290.
Oh, it's the Slim Case 6309-7290. They're the same as a 6309-7040 Turtle. But they just have that was the first one with the Slim Case style, along with the 7548s that everybody's familiar with now. All the SKXs have always had them.
From Heck Lick. Can that scratch on its back be removed?
Removing scratches from smooth surfaces is really, really hard, because the problem is the scratch is below the surface, right? So you got your scratch running like that. So in order to get rid of the scratch, you have to remove all the material around it. You can't, unless you have a jeweler's grade laser welder. The only way I've known to take a scratch out of a case, because the material is all there, right? The metal is still there. It's just been pushed down and out like this, right? In a furrow. So you have these little raised things. Now you can't get rid of them. But if you burnish, use a burnisher, and you can burn.
What the hell's a burnisher?
It's anything that's like it's an extremely hard and smooth material, and it works for paper and leather. You can burnish with bone.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so basically you're rubbing it over like this, and it can smooth down the surface. In metal, when you burnish, what actually happens is right at the molecular level, right on the surface, you actually get flow that's not related to heat. And so if you're careful and you do it correctly, you can bring out a lot of stuff. Japanese sword making, they have all these beautiful metal finishes that they do, including that's like a mirror finish, and they don't get it by polishing, they get it by burnishing.
Huh? Okay.
It's a neat thing because it doesn't remove material, it just makes the material flat.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
What?
Yeah. Unless you want to talk about nothing.
Wasn't planning on talking about nothing.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's about it. So, a couple things we do want to say, though, about St. Louis. We do like the aquarium.
The aquarium is so cool. They have fish that nibble on your hands.
Right, and they have like the petting zoo experience, but for stingrays. Mm-hmm. And the stingrays, they're like puppies. Again with the puppies.
I have some videos, but they're pointing the other way, so I don't think they'll work on this.
Yeah, horseshoe crabs and stuff, and we got to see underneath, look at sharks and everything else like this. But my relatives there, who are young earth creationists, biblical literalists, and potentially flat earthers, were really mystified why we were going to the museum, because of course
not the museum, the aquarium.
The aquarium, because that's just filled with the lies of the adversary.
Yeah, I kept getting pushback about it, and we're like,
we didn't understand why. He's like, don't you want to go rock climbing?
And asked Willow, and she was like, no.
No. And I was like, no, I think the kids wanted to go to the aquarium, so that's what we promised, and we're going to go to the aquarium.
It was the best aquarium I've ever been to. I love fish.
Yeah, it was nice.
And there were otters.
There were otters, and it was like you could really, like, it was real hands-on, and the kids loved it. It was really great, and I learned many things.
Oh, and then we went to the zoo, and I'm so sad that we didn't get to the penguin puffin house until they were like gonna close.
Oh yeah, if you go there
they were so cute.
And so Sabrina's there, there's a giant glass wall, because apparently people are kind of dumb when it comes to penguins, and they want to pet them and put them on their shoulder like a parrot. And penguins are super territorial, and they have absolutely no problems whatsoever snapping at people and doing bad things. So anyway, glass wall, penguin thing, guard, and I say, Sabrina, look at that. And
I was like, is that alive or is that a robot?
It was alive, and she was like, this far from the damn thing.
And then I saw puffins and I wanted to cry. They're so cute. I love them.
Yeah, we're going through we're doing my whole DNA and ancestry thing. My psychopath of a mother was also extremely racist against the Irish for some reason.
Super waspy, hated Catholics.
Hated Catholic, hated the Irish. So again, once when I was a teenager, no, grade school,
Okay.
maybe junior high, early junior high. Anyway, so I was like, green. I'm going to get my green so I don't get pinched at school because it's St. Patrick's Day. And I asked Mom if she did that. What did she do in her day? Did they do that? And she said, oh, I always wore orange. I'm like, and I thought it was like a color match thing because on the color wheel, they're the opposite of each other. So I'm like, was she trying to do like complementary colors? And it would look, they do look nice together.
Well, it depends on the shade.
And I said, I was like, well, why did you wear orange? And she squawks, I'm not Irish.
Wow.
Wow. So I'm doing all my DNA, all right? Finally going through it. Holy crap. So much Irish. So many Irish families. I'm so sorry she's dead just because I would have loved to have told her. Hey, Mom, guess what? I bought you a shillelagh. We could play Irish jigs every time she came in. We could celebrate St. Patrick's Day with little green hats.
Damn it! Why couldn't you have found this out like 10 years ago?
We could have put green food dye in her milk. Snuck into the house in the middle of the night, put leprechauns everywhere. Oh, that would have been great.
Sorry,
Oh, my stars and garters.
we tend to like to sometimes mess with people.
Or at least mess with their images in our mind.
Yes. No, tell them about the salmon.
How do I even... my father was underneath my mother's thumb forever. So she abused... I'm so sorry, honey.
Well, no, sorry. Okay.
She abused and degraded and hurt people around her just as... out of boredom, really. And so she had a lot of pride.
We had, at the time, some of you might remember if you've been a long-time watcher, a little fat dachshund named Pongo.
Oh, yes. He was a genius.
And then his mother made a salmon.
My mother, not Pongo's.
No. Made salmon like raw in the middle and tried feeding it to his dad, and I had a fit.
My dad was a microbiologist.
Yeah.
He did not eat underprepared
Yeah,
food.
and he was like, and I freaked out, and then he's like, why don't we give it to Pongo?
And no, Dad, no, she was like, Donald, that's fine. And he's like, Sandra, this is new. And I looked at it and I was like, Mom, this thing is raw. It's raw in the middle. Can you cook it some more and then maybe he can have it? She's like, no, you can't cook it a second time. I'm like, well, he can't eat it like this. I don't know how we got to this point, but then...
You were like, I think Pongo would like it if you can't cook it again.
If you can't cook it again, Dad can't eat it. And I put the plate down, Dad's plate, on the ground. Oh, my father. He loved me, of course, but he also loved Sabrina because she was one of the only people in his life, and probably the only woman after his marriage to stand up to his wife. And so, but Dad and her and I are watching Pongo like, and Mom's face was just thunderous. Her face, and she was going like this. Her jaw working. I'll get you, my pretties.
We like messing with people that are just annoying, and that was just an example of messing with someone that was annoying.
But the thing that I don't understand, obviously she hated all pets. Being a psychopath, a clinical psychopath. Psychopaths typically never have pets because there's no emotional bond that can be made there. They have zero empathy. They have no insight into anybody else's internal lives. So pets don't work for them. I assumed, because I'm naive and I always try to think the best of people, that Mom would be happy that, at least the salmon's not going to waste. It's going to give Pongo a nice shiny skin. He's going to get even smarter. Ooh, he was a smart dog.
Did we ever tell? I don't know why I'm in a talking mood. Did we ever tell them about the bread?
Oh, well, that's the thing. Okay, so you're at home. But anyway, I assumed that Mom would be overjoyed. Not overjoyed, but at least like, that Pongo's getting a great salmon dinner. And he was so happy. Boy, he was happy. That thunderous look. And so, back up. Year 3 before, I was working in California. And Sabrina and Sadie and all of our crap were up at Mom and Dad's house. So Sabrina's living there with Pongo.
With Pongo.
And my mom made bread all the time.
No, I think I made this
bread.
I made 3 loaves of bread, and then I had to go someplace with Sadie, and his mom was not home, and Pongo was home, and then his dad was home, his mom was home. I walk in, and she's busy yelling at him, Donald, how could you eat all the bread? And he was like, what do you mean I didn't eat all the bread? It was like that.
It was like that when I got here.
And then she kept screaming, and I looked at the table, and I realized that Pongo moved the chair so that he could jump on the chair. Remember, he's a little dachshund. Jump on the table, across the table, which go to the counter, around the sink, and he ate 2.5 loaves of bread. He was lying on the ground going...
Wasn't there another time that actually you guys walked into the
No.
kitchen?
So then his mother was like, the dog didn't do it. And I was like, yes, the dog. Oh, look at him. And then like the next night, I was watching TV with her, and his dad hadn't done the dishes yet, so there were dirty dishes on the counter, and I hear a noise.
A tinkle?
I hear a...
I
get up and I run into the kitchen, and there's Pongo, and there's ice cream. Sandy, come here! And she comes running in, and we're all just like stopped and looking at each other, and then he jumps on the counter.
So it was like it was kind of like a
Yes.
the standoff in the cowboy movies. And then Pongo, did he leap
He
from
leaped-
the top?
Look, yes, from the counter, and I was like, oh my god, he broke his back, but he ran down the stairs.
I mean, he was super crazy fat, so I'm amazed that didn't break him in half.
I know, and
Though he might have hit his tummy and bounced.
yeah, and he was fat, not because we fed him all the time. It was a constant battle for the entire time we owned him. I kept putting him on a diet and walking him, and then we'd have like this bread or the leftover, or the after dinner situation. That's why he was so fat.
Oh, it was amazing. He was also, of course, well, I don't want to go into that other stuff because that's gross. Anyway, we loved Pongo. He was super smart. He was super smart, and he helped us, get a little dig in at my mom. Helped amuse my dad for a second, which is always good. And man, that's the end of that. So remember, if you have a fat dachshund and your mother-in-law has undercooked salmon that she's trying to feed your father, consider taking the plate and giving it to the dachshund.
He was so happy.
He was happy. Man, he was happy. The only time he was happier is I made a way back in Providence days forever ago.
No. It was
No. It's a two-part thing.
Oh.
Way back in Providence days, we lived in a what do they call that?
A duplex.
A duplex with our neighbors Meg and Tom, who were super nice people. And for Easter, I made like the super glazed ham,
It was like,
super crazy glazed. How good was it?
it was so good, and I don't like ham.
I tried to do the same thing again many years later. We were living here. But the ham wasn't nearly as good. I think I bought a really good ham the first time. And it was okay. It wasn't great. I was pretty happy about it. The outsides tasted fine. But then the inside was just this bone. A giant bone.
I was elsewhere.
In my defense, I was unsupervised. So anyway, I threw it out the back for Pongo. Dude, the thing was like this big. He somehow managed to eat 3/4 of it.
There was no getting it from him. He would have killed me.
God, and he was like, he looked like somebody had stuck a bicycle pump up his nose.
I swear that didn't kill him. He was alive for many years after
Many
that.
years after, but he looked, it's the only time I've actually seen him like, I wish I had a digestive biscuit. It's the only time I've ever seen him been like, I've been betrayed by food. There's food here, but I don't want to eat it. Just like Homer said, what's wrong with me? All right, that's the end of that, folks.
Yes.
And thank you so much for watching. And remember, don't try to use negging techniques from the pickup artist's repertoire to get someone you don't know and have never conversed with to engage with you in any way. So, adios.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Oh, wait.
There's a cat.
Smack it, Crackies. Who's my Smackies? Who's my beautiful
Uh-oh, you better
Smackies?
turn it off.
Oh, no. Well, here, I better get in position, honey. You'll have to turn off the phone.
Okay.
Bye, folks.
Goodbye. takes.
Yep. Ah.
Oh yeah, put the lighter on top of it.
Well, I got to put it somewhere.
Ignites.
Okay, so here. Last time we kind of did it like this. Should I turn it over? Do you want to sit a little closer? You can pull your chair forward. Just to, like, there you go. That's a scoop of ice cream.
Oh Jesus! I thought.
Hey, I got to quote Cars 2 today. I really did. It was
Are
awesome.
we recording for?
Of course we're recording.
No, I know.
This is for all time, honey. We're saying stuff that could be viewed in 10,000 years. So we've got to see the stuff that matters.
Wait, but are we recording for them?
I don't know.
I
It
thought
depends
we
on
were
if
gonna
they're.
do something else.
Oh, that. Well, you know what? Why don't we put this at the end? Does that work for you?
Why?
Because it's a good way to close the video. Bye.
Bye.